Not programmed. For those of you who are used to watching me at Sales After Dark, I just thought I'd jump on midday. So anyway, today I have an interesting topic. Want to share it with you. Want to talk about something called demand side sales. I think you're going to find the topic interesting. Going to keep it short. Like I said, I'll wait for a couple of people to jump on, and then I'm going to just launch into this thing. So again, it'll be an interesting topic. Haven't done it live for a while, so kind of looking forward to doing one again. So again, the topic is going to be called demand side sales. And it's an interesting book that was written by a gentleman by the name of Bob Moesta. So that'll be the topic of today, is how do you connect with your clients? That's usually a big topic today. How do you connect with your clients? Clients pretty much know what they want. Many of you are great salespeople already. So it's one of those things where it's just a matter of selling. So, all right, we got some folks online already. How you doing? Gotcha. I gotcha. So there you go. So let me see who's on here. We got one right here. Let me see if I can bring you over. There you go, man. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate the jumping on board. It's going to be fun. So again, I'll wait one more minute, and then I'm just going to jump into the content. This is going to be about a 15-minute session, if that. But I think it'll be worth your time. I think it'll give you a good framework for selling and how to look at sales. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump into the topic right now. So, and if you're watching this on a replay, love it, man. Good afternoon. Love it, man. All right, people are jumping on board. Excellent. Love the comments. So let me see, we got a few comments into this. Trond is on, John is on. Well, they got a lot of folks on. All right, cool. Everybody's jumping on board. Love it, man. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done a live. I know. Where's Sales After Dark? That's usually the question I'm getting, man. So we'll see let's get into it. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna just jump right into it because I don't want to waste your time and I want to get to other things. I just wanted to talk about this. So I came across a book. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen and then I'll go full screen on this thing. It's called Demand Side Sales, right? Like there, right there. And so it's an interesting book. Demand Side Sales 101 with Bob Moesta. Stop selling and help your customers make progress. Now, the reason I'm taking time to actually talk about this book is because, again, I think it's a fascinating read. It was one of those wake-up call reads. Let me see if I can get out of here so I can just close that out. Hold on. I'm getting all kinds of issues on my side now. It always happens when you go live, man. Not that. Let me just disconnect. Bear with me a minute. And I'm going to come back to the board here. All right. So anyway, so in demand side sales, I think it's an interesting concept because what he's talking about is how do you, hold on one second. I'm testing out if I can actually watch my own live stream on my own laptop. So bear with me. I'm pulling my own live stream up. See if I get my own alerts because I did want to check that. Love it, man. Let me see. Okay, cool. But anyway, so I did want to show you this. Just bear with me a second. I'm going to pull this up, and then I want to give you an example of what I am talking about. And then we'll talk about it. All right, there I am. Demand side sales, live. Now I can watch myself live. I wanted to test it out. It's a little behind, so now I can actually see. All right, we got Texas in the house. We got Caroline. We got Tron, the hungry guy. So I love Yorkshire, UK, man. I love it. So anyway, cool. It's funny. There's like small delay right here. By the way, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually just like, hold on a second. You know how you just got to play with technology to finally get it? So I'm actually watching myself. Let's see how long it takes to pull up the computer. See if this is kind of fun. Let's see. And so you can actually see the delay. It's about 10, maybe 15-second delay. Huh, interesting. 10, 15-second delay. So I'm watching myself. But anyway, now that I've had that fun. So what is demand side sales? This is, the reason I wanted to take time to do this live stream is because this book to me truly represents the future of selling. That's how highly I consider this book. It is the future of selling. And I'm going to give you the short version of what's in the book, but I'm going to recommend you buy it. Again, if you buy it on Kindle, it's like $9.99 US, $10 US, worth every penny. So Bob Moesta, demand side sales. Here's the model in a nutshell. Let me just see if I can go through. In a nutshell, here's the model. For example, you have a customer. The customer wants to make a certain decision. Hold on one second. The customer wants to make a certain decision, right? The customer is at point A, and what they want to do is get to point B, right? And what Bob talks about in the book is that when you're thinking about your customers, don't think of them as buying a product. He said, no, notice how he's going to flip the words here. He says, think about them making progress. That's what they want to do. They want to make progress. They want to go from here to here. It's not so much about selling them something, it's understanding the progress. This is kind of the reframe that I thought was really interesting. Instead of looking at selling a solution, you got to understand what progress is the client trying to make. They're here, they want to get here. And then they use the phrase, jobs to be done. In other words, what jobs need to be done for them to make progress from A to B, right? So this, he calls, what we're trying to do is push them this way. When we sell a product or solution, what we're trying to do is help them make progress along whatever journey they're on. So for example, I had to buy a new microphone, right? So I was here and I needed to buy a new microphone. I wanted to be here with my new microphone. So my progress was to get better quality audio. And so what I then did is obviously go online, research, and again, you know the deal, right? All the reviews, review that, and then finally made a buying decision. But here's the second part of the equation. And those who understood it online helped me make a buying decision. He says, well, this is the push, trying to get, the customer's trying to get over here. What's pulling the customer back, he calls this the pull. He says, what's always holding customers back are two things. One is anxiety. Now, we know what that is, right? We've talked about this in the past. There's certainty and anxiety, right? If there's a high amount of certainty, people will make a decision. But if there's too much anxiety, people are not going to make a buying decision. So our job in sales is actually to reduce that anxiety, right? Make them feel comfortable. But even if you did feel an anxiety, even if you reduce that anxiety rather, there was a second component that I never really thought of. And that kind of was a little mini aha moment for me. It's like I knew it was there, but I didn't think about it. And the second part of that pulls them back to the status quo. So in other words, you're trying to push them towards a new solution, right? Your product or service. But what pulls them back to the status quo, if this is status quo here, what's pulling them back is their anxiety, their fear. Check, got it, right? But the other part that Bob Moesta highlights is habits, things that they're used to. See, because when we become very habitual, we become very comfortable. We hate change. So there's two things here. There's fear, right? But then there's like, I love my habits. I like doing things this way. I want to keep things the way they are. So there's, again, anxiety, and then there's simply habits. You with me? And so I got something here. A nice I'll read your comments later as I go through this. So keep in mind, anxiety and habits. Now, it's a very general model, so let me give you a specific example that really drove the point home for me in the actual book. And he talks about how, Bob Moesta talks about how he was in the real estate development business. And one of the things he realized that, again, business was struggling. This is 2007, I think 2008. Construction companies were struggling, right? People wanted to move into condos, right? Housing, new housing, but they were afraid. So let's walk through it slowly. And then I'm going to give you some numbers to go with this. And again, I recommend you reading the book because it does a better job than I do in explaining this. Here's the customer living. So let's say this is it's a senior couple and they're looking to downsize. They're looking to shrink their house, right? They're looking to downsize, right? So they're here. Their B is they want a smaller place, right? More convenient, whatever it may be. Whatever the reasons are, they're trying to go from here to here. So that's the push, right? They want to go here. This is as he uses, this is the progress they want to make, right? We want to downsize, got a big house, we want to downsize and live over here. That's the push. That's the progress they want to make. But he's trying to understand why the success rate was so low. And he realized something as he was interviewing people, because he was talking about how when you go, look, if you've been to buy a new house here in the U.S., you know what I'm talking about. You get there to this new development, there's this person waiting for you. And all they do is basically show you around, right? And they just kind of give you a little tour of what everything is. Never really asking insightful questions as to why you really want to move, as to why you want to make a progress, right? Move in that direction, right? As to move in that direction. So he highlights how salespeople typically are just showing people in the real estate industry, in the construction industry, they're just showing, here's what this has, here's this model, here's this type of model, here's that type of model house, this has 3 bathrooms, that has 2 bathrooms. So they give you all the features, they give you all the benefits, but they're not asking, why do you want to move? And so what's happened is that the couple, the senior couple, wanted to make progress, they wanted to move, They probably liked what they saw, but something was pulling them back to the status quo, and he wanted to understand that. And so what he did is he began asking questions, right? And just interviewing, just massive interviewing. The whole book is about really, I'll just say about 30-40% of the book is just about interviewing, almost like researching, asking insightful questions to get to the real reason why people want to make progress, why they want to change. Now here I'm talking about real estate, but this could be like a CRM. You got this CRM, you want to move to a different CRM platform. That's the progress you want to make to get better data, better visualizations, better dashboards, whatever it may be. You want to make progress. And you know that logically, rationally, this is how I kind of framed it. Rationally, this is what you want to do. But then there's the pull that's pulling you back. And so he wanted to understand the pull, like what's holding them back. Too often we focus on the sales piece, right? But what's holding them back? I mentioned two things already, anxiety and habits, right? That's what he highlighted. But now let me give you a specific example using this example. Senior couple wants to downsize, wants a small apartment. That's the progress they want to make. What they couldn't understand is what was holding them back. They would go through they'd walk through the actual new construction building, they'd look at everything, but something was still holding them back. And in one particular instance, one example he gives is that during the interview process, they were asking these couples lots of questions as to why they wanted to move. And, they practiced the Toyota way. The Toyota way, if you haven't read the book, it's where Toyota basically, to get to the root of any problem, they ask 5 whys. Why do you want to move? We want a smaller house. Why do you want a smaller house? Less to take care of. Why do you want less to take care of? What's going on? We're getting older. We can't do the maintenance. And then again, until you get to the root, you ask the 5 whys. Maybe you'll get it 3, but typically you ask 5 whys to get to the root cause of something. So some of these interviews he was doing was actually those 5 whys driving down to figure out what was what, right? And the one thing, and it was like a moment, it's like an Archimedes moment, right? Like a eureka moment. Like he was at dinner, he was sitting, having dinner with his family, and again, the book just does a better job explaining this than I do. And then it hit him. It hit him that around the dinner table, because many of these condos didn't have a dining room. So that means that they had to get rid of a lot of stuff. If you've moved, if you've been living in a place for a long time and you got to downsize, you got to get rid of stuff. And so what do you realize? That the pull was people having to get rid of stuff. But more importantly, these new condos, these new apartments they were selling didn't have a dining room. And so it hit them. The idea, the eureka moment came and says, wait a minute, maybe that's what's holding them back. It's the dining room table. That's a big pull habit. They didn't know what to do with the table. And the more they dug into this, they realized that this was a big pull back to the status quo. People didn't want to get rid of their dining room table when they were downsizing. Well, think about it. It kind of makes sense, actually, because there were a lot of dinners around that table. There were a lot of holidays spent around that table, a lot of Christmases, a lot of Thanksgivings, a lot of birthdays, a lot of celebrations, a lot of anniversaries. So that table, piece of wood with 4 legs, represented something to those couples. So what they decided to do is, let me just go through what they did, which was brilliant. In order to reduce this anxiety, in order to reduce the habits that they had, they did is they redesigned the actual, they redesigned the actual layout. And what they did, the first thing they did is, 1, they made the second bathroom smaller, okay? They made the second bathroom smaller. Why? 2, they wanted to add a small dining room. They added a small dining room. Now they didn't have to get rid of the actual table. They could bring the table with them. Then they also offered them, listen to this, free moving. So in other words, free moving. So they would move you for free. Again, what they're trying to reduce is this resistance, this pullback. Okay, so they added free moving. Now, let's be real about this. You know the costs were embedded in there. Free moving, then they gave them free storage. so they can store their stuff. Like the stuff that didn't go in, they could actually store. So there's like a place they can actually store. So they actually have storage areas, right? But here was the kicker. Here was the real kicker. Number 5, they had, I'll write it out here, they added a sorting room to the actual complex. In other words, a sorting room is just a massive room, right? Where as you bring your stuff in, you can sort it out, right? Just lay everything here and then begin to pick what you want and move it into the apartment. Now, obviously this cost, free moving, free storage, and the storage room, what they did is they jacked up the price by $3,500, okay? They jacked up the price by $3,500. Now, consider this. Now you have to move. Now you realize, okay, it's free moving. They're going to move us. And if I don't want to get rid of something, we can store it. And there's a sorting room where I can just lay everything out and just move everything in to my apartment as I need it. And then the rest goes into storage. And they jacked up the average price by $3,500. Here's the kicker. Here is the kicker. During that time, numbers were actually going down in terms of new housing sales. The market was seeing a 49% decrease in housing sales. 49% decrease in housing sales. But not for Bob and his team. They saw, let's make this one green, they saw a 25% increase in their sales. Now this is, it's a great example of if we understand the psychology of what's going on here. The customer wants to go from here and make progress here, right? But there's that pull of the status quo. And the pull is, again, some of it's rational, some of it's psychological or emotional, doesn't matter. But all of a sudden this is pulling them back. And through the interview processes that they have, in other words, interviewing people over and over, different people, just interviewing a lot of people, they realize that the emotional piece, in this case, part of it was the dining room table. I'm sure there's much more to that, but that's a big piece, the dining room table. Getting rid of stuff, offer them free storage. Who's going to move it? Do I want to bother anybody? We got free moving. By the way, I don't know what I should put in the apartment, what's going to fit. We got a sorting room. And they increased the price by $3,500, which tells you that it wasn't the price. It was this pulled resistance back. And what he did was he minimized the anxiety and that habit. Where does habit fit into this? Habits are, you're used to that table. You're used to having dinner at the table. Well, let's keep that habit. Let's keep having that. And by understanding anxiety and a person's habits, what they figured out was how to sell more effectively without having to push. All they had to do was reduce the anxiety, make it habitual, in other words, in line with what they wanted, and they were able, I mean, you think about this, 49%, 25%, that's a 75% swing. That's amazing. And so, again, the book is called Demand Side Sales by Bob Moesta. Fantastic read, great book. I highly recommend it. Check it out. And again, I just wanted to take some time during midday here to do a live stream. Some of you have been asking me, hey, Victor, when are you going to do your next live stream? So I'm doing one right now. As you see, I'm redoing the studio, changing up a lot of things. And I know you guys got the comments coming in, man. Let me see if I can pull off my glasses and read some of this, man. Hi, Victor. Nice to see you again. That's Tron. Let me see some of these. You guys are cool, man. David says, love your videos. Thank you very much. Victor, killing the game. My man, Will Barron. By the way, check out Will Barron, salesman.org. In fact, just go to his YouTube channel, subscribe. We do a weekly show called This Week in Sales. He's an awesome guy. Even though he's from the UK, he's an awesome guy. But anyway, also, he's a great dude. His interviews, he's got a lot of great interviews. He's far ahead of me when it comes to interviews, so he's got some great stuff. Freudian slip. Is Victor reading this chat? Yes, I am. Right now. Tron says, yes, Freudian. Also, Jesus Carib says, love your videos. Andre says, how can I subscribe to your university? Go to salesvelocityacademy.com, salesvelocityacademy.com. And again, I'll be doing more live streams. I'm just doing a lot of stuff with the videos, with the studio. My friend Will Barrett, as I just mentioned, with salesman.org. Go check out his YouTube channel. I got to catch up to him because he's just way ahead of me, you know. He's got a better game than me, man, so I got to catch up. He says, thanks for the plug. I've enjoyed the stream, mate. All right, well done. He's got a new dog also. And last time he was having some issues, some bowel issues. But anyway, hope that's cleared up. Anyway, that's it. Just wanted to do a short stream here, man. Thank you guys for joining me. Like I said, I'll be doing more on a regular basis. Let me just get my act together. Got a few things I want to kind of add to the new live streams. And I'll probably do either sales after dark or sales after noon, one of the two. But as always, thank you guys for joining me. Check out the Sales Velocity Academy. Hit my man, Will Barron, salesman.org. Hit that YouTube channel. And let me see. Tron says, love the videos always, and sure I'm going to read the book. It's a great book. Bob Moesta, Demand Side Sales. Check it out.